Just saw that I had my microphone muted. So, as I was saying, what's up, everybody out there? It's your man, Governor Wildstar. And yeah, what's up to y'all? I just wanted to chime in and give you guys a quick voter's guide as to how you should be voting this election day come Tuesday. If you haven't voted already, since they're forcing lots of people to send in their ballots by mail, this is for you. If you've already voted, then you got your mind made up already, and sent in your ballot. So if you do want to make some recommendations yourself, of course, they're pretty much pointless because there's a lot of people out there that are still undecided. So this is for all of you undecided voters out there. I've already sent in my ballot. So I'm just chiming in, like I said, to give my 2 cents. Hopefully you people out there would appreciate it. If you got any questions or comments during this chat, please be sure to drop it. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. Please hit that bell down below or in the description and connect with me. Also, be sure to connect with me on social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, people out there, be sure to follow my man right here, me. All right. If you follow me, I definitely will not lead you astray, only to the truth. And that's what I'm trying to do is just shed some light on all of this untruthfulness going on out there, the lies, the deception in the media, the corruption. And it's up to us to keep each other informed. So that's exactly what I am doing and will be doing for you. And if you haven't contributed yet to my activism and would like to, in any way, shape, or form, head over to my website, governorwildstar.com, as you can see right there at the bottom of the screen, and be sure to connect with me. All right. So I'm going to make this brief because, like I said, I'm just doing a quick voter guide type of video for all of you people out there that haven't voted yet and are still confused about some of the propositions, how they may work. And if you have voted yet and would like to just get some more information, maybe you were misinformed and, would like to know more about what's going to be discussed, definitely stick around, ask questions, comments, all that good stuff. So first things first, position on propositions. All right. So as you can see, I really don't care about the two-party system. I'm running as a libertarian Republican so I can break that cycle and using the Republican vehicle to make sure that the libertarian message is heard by more people, since I am running as a candidate for California governor. So if you haven't heard yet, I'm telling you right now to look me up. My website is wildstar2022.com. Be sure to check that out right there at the bottom. I got my man Maverick Cuba, my bad, dropping the message. Says Republicans and Libertarians agree 70% of the props. Libertarians and Democrats agree 30% on Prop 24. It's not endorsed by any political party. Can't get behind the parolees getting right to vote. I believe once parole is finished, rights should be restored. Absolutely. Speaking of which, Prop 24 for the Libertarians, I'll bring that up for you guys so you can see. All right, there we have it. So, like I said, you guys, since I'm rebuking the two-party system and am aiming to break that in any way, shape, or possible, like Maverick here said, the Democrats and the Republicans already put out their position on the props here in the state of California. And if you look at them comparatively, wherever the Republicans want something passed, the Democrats disagree, and vice versa. So that's what you're going to find. I would say the libertarian option is the best one to be non-biased. Okay. So that's exactly what this is. And with Prop 24, you're right. We'll talk about that. But first, let's go down the line here. So Prop 14 is the first one up on the ballot. And let's see. Prop 14 authorizes bonds, continuing stem cell research initiative statute. It authorizes $5.5 billion in state bonds for stem cell and other medical research, including training, research, facility, construction, administrative costs. Dedicates $1.5 billion to brain-related diseases. Yeah. They try to make these all sound so good and like they're going to be beneficial to we the people. They're not. Okay, whenever they say bond, just know that they're borrowing your money. They're going to basically issue a bond for a certain dollar amount, spend that dollar amount, XYZ, on whatever, and then tax you for it. So whenever you hear bond, that's exactly what they're doing. Once united, aren't we the third party? You damn Skippy. That's exactly what we need to do is unite, come together, and be that third party to get rid of the two-party system. And this is how it starts, by us getting involved in the electoral process and making sure that we're occupying the vote, making sure that we are speaking up for ourselves and those people that want to, again, get rid of this two-party system. We got to get involved, okay? Welcome back, Maverick. He said his phone died. So, all right. So with Prop 14, stem cell research initiative, bond initiative, no. Anytime you hear bond, no more bonds, no more borrowing on behalf of we the people and spending our money on excess programs or whatever the case may be, or initiatives, because how rarely do we actually see it come to fruition? I mean, these governments, they borrow tens of millions of, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in bonds and issue these bonds to do whatever. But how often do we see improvements in our community? They're not doing anything with the bonds they borrowed for education, to rebuild schools and improve infrastructure projects like parks and roads, etc. So no more bonds, no more borrowing our money at all. No more taking our tax dollars at all. If anything, let us keep it in our damn pocket where it belongs and let us spend that money ourselves. Choose where we want it to go, not have it be chosen for us. So no on Prop 14. Prop 15, tax assessment for commercial properties. That increases funding sources for public schools, community colleges, and local government by changing tax assessment of commercial and industrial property. Now, let's see, Prop 15, I got this in the mail. It's a mailer that they sent out. It says an $11.5 billion property tax increase, okay? And they telling you right here, no on Prop 15. It's people out there saying yes on Prop 15, thinking that this is going to improve schools and whatever else that they said, funding sources for community college, local governments. Yeah. Again, they're collecting our property taxes right now, and we aren't even able to utilize public services like our schools because they've been shut down by our tyrannical Governor Gavin Newsom. So no on Prop 15. Even right here, they tell you on this mailer, no on Prop 15. And this has been backed by groups like the NAACP, all right, the California Small Business Association. These are heavyweights when it comes to organizations. The California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce all says to vote no on Prop 15. So if you have been disillusioned to believe otherwise, please vote no on Prop 15. Am I getting it in there? There we go. Vote no on Prop 15. There you go. Okay? Hell no. And again, you can find this voter guide for the Libertarian Party at calp.org or ca.lp.org/voting guide. Just head on over to the ca.lp.org website, and you will be able to find the 2020 Libertarian Voting Guide. It is non-biased. It's just straight up the center, which you should be recognizing as a voter, and we have your best interests at heart, versus the other two parties have special interests in mind. Same BS for decades. Tell me about it. And Jennifer O'Connor says, you rock. All right, I appreciate it, Jennifer. So do you. Thank you for being here with me, and thank you for the comment. Please be sure to share this video. help spread the message and inform those undecided voters that have yet to send in their ballot by mail or go out to a polling station, since they are allowing that in certain counties. So you got to find it. So again, please spread the message, Jennifer and Maverick and Khalik, all you guys, I appreciate the help. Moving on down, Prop 16, repeal of Proposition 209, Affirmative Action Amendment. No, okay? Let me just read to you this short description. It allows diversity as a factor in public employment, education, and contracting decisions, legislative constitutional amendment. They're trying to make a constitutional amendment to apply affirmative action, which is basically to say that every business needs to have a diversity hire, have a more diversified group of people working for them, and they make it a requirement. Now, what if this was a Black-owned business and Black people they mainly aim these type of bills towards the Black community, the brown community, everybody that feels ostracized by the system that exists, people of color, to say, hey, this is going to make it diverse and make it easier for you to go out there and get the job that you want. Well, what if you have a Black-owned business and you want to employ more Black people? This would make sure that you have to have a diversity hire and hire someone that's not Black, okay? So it works both ways. Never forget that. It works both ways. And they're also going to waste our time and money on this effort, okay? Maverick says it's so racist. It definitely is. And he also says there's so many unintended consequences. Yes, indeed. You may have the business choose to go out of business simply because they are now forced to adhere to state law, which will say that you need to hire more people of color and meet this quota in order for you to be, I guess, in operation. What are you going to do? Close down these businesses? So it's very dictatorial over a business. And if you are a small business, even if you're a large business, a corporation, or a sole proprietorship, or whatever the case may be, the government is trying to take control over your business. You created that business. You should always maintain control. You should be the one choosing who to hire based on the qualifications. And if the person doesn't qualify for that position, then it should be your choice as to if you want to hire them or not. You shouldn't be forced to hire them simply because you need to diversify your, personnel. So no on Prop 16, okay? Prop 17, voting rights restores for persons of parole. My man Maverick brought this up. So yes, libertarians say yes and agree with you, Maverick, that once a person has done their time, then all of their rights should be restored, especially their right to vote. So this would make sure that voting rights are restored for parolees, okay? And for those people out there that think because they're a felon, they're not able to vote in the state of California, if you aren't on parole or have any pending charges, then you can vote, okay? So this would get rid of the parolee part. You wouldn't have to be on probation or parole and be excluded from voting. You could still be on probation and parole and be able to vote. The pending charges, however, would be the only disqualifying factor that would apply. So if you're a felon and have any pending charges, then you would not be able to vote. But if you are a felon and are on parole or probation, you would be able to vote. So we want to help out those people, since we, again, are making sure that we can reinstate the rights of our fellow Americans by making sure that they have all of their God-given natural rights and rights according to the Constitution, constitutional rights, upheld and protected. So please vote yes on Prop 17. Rob Zawistowski, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm from Wisconsin, so I see names like that all the time. Rob Zawistowski. He says, keeping up the great work. I'm voting all libertarian on the ballot. Root for you. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, my election isn't until 2022, but please definitely support all of those libertarian candidates that are running, especially those that are running against a Democrat in certain districts, like Starchild, who's running up in Sacramento, or James Just, who's also running for state assembly out in Sacramento District 7. So please look up these candidates and be sure to support them. Any ones that are running against incumbents, establishment candidates, whether they're Democrat or Republican, let's replace their ass and try somebody new for once, especially someone with an opposing view and aren't part of that establishment party like a libertarian. Maverick Cuba says, I voted no, but it's not the worst thing to pass. All right, yeah, do what you do. It would not be. And Jennifer O'Connor says, everyone should be able to vote, felon or not. Exactly. Keep on fighting the good fight, everyone. She's absolutely right. You should always maintain your right to vote. And it's awful that a person that has been deemed a felon, and this may be for a weapons violation, whether it be you having a gun or an empty gun or a collapsible baton, which is also a felony in the state of California, that is considered a felony if you have a collapsible baton. All right. I'm back. I apologize for that. The computer shut off. The government really don't like me, y'all. I've had videos censored. I've been blocked from sharing now on Facebook until November 8th. So if you see any of my posts, please share them shits, okay? Share it in every group that you can, share it on every page that you can. Because like I said, I'm being censored, I'm being blocked, and they definitely have me on the on a watch list, okay? Because I am again so anti-establishment that I say and do shit that they don't want y'all to know about. So it's up to us to inform each other instead of relying on the mainstream media and the news to get that information out there. They are part of the machine, so they're never going to work for us, we the people. We got to start realizing that and doing everything that we can to fight against it in every way possible. And you clicking share on a video, it ain't going to hurt you, and it ain't going to cost a thing. So please definitely do that. I got a few comments here since I was taken away. Maverick Cuba said, I looked for my districts only, could find Republican and Democrats, so I'm voting out incumbents, which are Democrats. Do that. If you got any incumbents running and want to get them out of office, vote for the opposite person. I know Nancy Pelosi, she's up for re-election and she's running up against another Democrat. He's this progressive Democrat and, you know, calls himself openly a Democratic socialist. But would you rather have 2 more years with him in office or 2 more years of Nancy Pelosi? Okay, just do the math here. Try something new. Get him in there. And if you don't like his ass, vote him out in 2 more years and or try to your best to impeach him or something like that, or get him recalled. But at least change things up. Get some new blood in there to represent possibly what more people would appreciate as a public representative. Please definitely do so. Jack B says, maybe this guy would support a real 9/11 investigation. LOL, I'll wait. You're absolutely right. I definitely would support a real investigation into 9/11. Building 7 is enough for me to feel that way, and I don't know why anybody else out there would feel differently. Look into Building 7. It's a third building on 9/11 that actually fell pancake style, just like the Twin Towers. Look it up. All right. And thank you very much, Lady Wildstar, who says, hey, everyone, the computer mysteriously shut down. He'll be back on as soon as he is able. Thanks, everyone, for your patience during this crazy election year. Thank you, Lady Wildstar, for putting that information out there. Like I said, unfortunately, my computer shut down mysteriously. But like I said, I'm talking about some shit that they definitely don't want out there. So please spread the word. Jack B says, nice. I don't like them. I don't like them either. I don't know who you're talking about. Hopefully you're talking about the 2-party system because I don't like them at all. Jack B also says, let's see. Thank you here. Hold on 1 second. And AE 911 True. All right, more information from Jack B. You guys check it out. Night Vale says, I hope to see more libertarian candidates in my district, only Democrats and a Green candidate. Vote Green. Like I said, man, switch it up. Do something else. And the one thing about California is we have a top 2 primary, so it doesn't matter what the candidate's political party are. You can have 2 Democrats going up against each other, like Nancy Pelosi and this Democratic socialist. I don't know his name, but she's running up against a Democrat, another Democrat. And that's what can happen here in the state of California. No matter what the candidate's party affiliation is, we only have a top 2 system. So you can have 2 Democrats versus each other, 2 Republicans against each other, 2 Libertarians against each other. Just depends on how the majority vote during the primary. So because of that majority vote for those Democratic candidates during the primary, Night Vale, you are now forced to choose between just 2 Democrats, whatever district that you're in. And so if you got Green candidates on the ballot, definitely vote for them and support them and make sure that they have an opportunity to switch things up, change up, and challenge this two-party system. Anyways, back on the props. Before I get cut off again, okay? Part 2 of this, I guess. Prop 18 is to reduce the primary voting age to 17 years of age. So if a 17-year-old would like to vote, then in which they should have the right to vote. I was 17 when I moved to California from Wisconsin. I definitely was an independent-minded individual, yet was robbed the opportunity to get involved into the electoral process until I was 18. We need to be making sure that our younger people are able to get involved in the electoral system as well. Hopefully they won't be influenced enough by the two-party system to continue their statism policies and the duopoly going, and will vote differently. They're more inclined to do so because they find the two-party system being disgusting. I speak with young people all the time, and they tell me they're so sick of Republican and Democrat and fighting and back and forth between the two. And I tell them simply, vote different. Vote for a independent candidate, vote for a libertarian candidate, vote for a Green Party candidate, or don't vote for any of them at all. If there's an empty portion on your ballot, you can simply put NOTA, which means none of the above, okay? NOTA. Put in NOTA, meaning none of the above, which means that you just refuse to vote on either one of those candidates. But if you don't want to vote, throw your support behind them, definitely don't do that, especially if you are doing so convincingly. If you haven't been convinced enough by those candidates to vote for them and throw your support behind them, don't at all. Let somebody else do it. Keep your conscience clear. That's what we need to be doing, is just focusing on those things, okay? All right, moving on down these props, since there are too damn many. So vote yes on Prop 18. Let our 70-year-olds be able to vote. All right. Prop 19, property tax transfers, exemptions, and revenue for wildfire agencies. No, 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 no. Gavin Newsom, when he first assumed office, he created a new wildfire agency, a wildfire task force. Spent tens of millions of taxpayers' money on creating this new task force, which is supposed to deal with wildfires. And just look at what has happened this year. Since then, this creation of this wildfire task force, which is supposed to be, I guess, going out and surveying which areas are high at risk for wildfires. They've done nothing. Our money has been wasted on another government boondoggle, and we got gypped out and sold out on another government shenanigan. As my lady Eva says, from reality. I can't ever see that right. But check her out. But yeah, anyways, more government shenanigans. This is just basically asking for more money. So I'll read it, what we have here on the ballot. It says changes certain property tax rules. Changes certain property tax rules, legislative constitutional amendment. It allows homeowners who are 55, disabled, or wildfire disaster victims to transfer primary residence tax base to replacement residents. Changes taxation of family property transfers, establishes fire protection services fund. That's the part that should stick out to you guys the most. Establishes a fire protection services fund. No. Fiscal impact. Local governments could gain tens of millions of dollars of property tax revenue per year, probably growing over time to a few $100 million per year. No. They're telling you right here, they're going to be collecting taxes from you to the tune of tens of millions in the first few years, and then later on, hundreds of millions of dollars being collected to supposedly combat, wildfires and help out victims of wildfires, ages 55 and up. They specify here, okay? So no. It also says schools could receive similar property tax gains. So then they're also saying, oh, it's going to go towards schools too. Bullshit. Jack B says there's a petition at change.org circulating to abolish the Electoral College. I don't believe in petitions. Excuse me. other than ones that are calls to action, like the recall Gavin Newsom petition, which is a petition to actually get the recall on the ballot and get our governor out of office. But these petition propositions, they're basically just to beg the state to give you back your rights, give you back your liberty. Why the fuck are we begging an authoritarian government for anything? We shouldn't be begging them to respect our rights. We shouldn't be begging them to protect our liberties. We should be telling them what they should be doing. And if you don't do it, like Trump says on his Apprentice show, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Gavin Newsom, you're fired. If you haven't signed the petition yet, recallgavin2020.com. Please be sure to sign that damn petition. Let's tell Gavin Newsom you're fired. I'd be happy to do so, especially as the next governor of California. So get me in and get his ass out of there right now. Jack B says we got spun again. Right, exactly. That's how it is. You know, they're going to continue keeping you in this circle, lying to you by telling you that this is going to help the community and then changing it up last minute. Well said. All right, I appreciate that. Okay, Jack B and the rest of the audience out there, I appreciate your comments and questions, so definitely keep them coming. But I'm going to keep going through this prop list so I can go ahead and get dinner started. I apologize again for the interruption. All right, Mavic says, hell yeah, and you're hired. All right, I appreciate it. Now, let's get Newsom out of there, and I'll definitely be honored to serve you, okay? Prop 20, criminal sentencing, parole, and DNA collection initiative. No, no, no. Okay, if you get arrested for any reason at all, they'll tell you to give a DNA sample and your charges will go away. They'll tell you this if you go to court for a traffic ticket or something like that. Any type of violation of the state, whether it be a traffic code, a penal code, a safety and health code, if you violate any of these codes, which are not laws, then they'll tell you, give us a DNA sample and we'll make those charges go away. Why do they want your DNA? Why do they want your DNA? Okay, this is what makes you you. And it can be duplicated now through certain technologies. If you don't believe me, just look it up. And yeah, your DNA will be stored and harbored. They say, yeah, it's going to be put on file in case you do any criminal activity again in the future. You mean for a traffic violation, for a roll and stop, for not paying the ticket? You need my DNA for that? And no, that's your entire genetic makeup as a human being being put on file. No, no. Okay. Moving along, Prop 21, local rent control initiative. No, okay? Whenever they say rent control, just say no, okay? And people think that that's a good thing. That's not a good thing. Think about it. If you're in real estate, if you wanted to get into real estate and you bought a property and you estimated that you wanted to make X amount of dollars off of that property and you wanted to rent it at that price, you should be able to do so. You shouldn't be allowed to do so. You're the one that's making the investment. Who is the government to come along and tell you what you can and cannot do with your own property? That's exactly what rent control is. And people think, oh, well, that's great for me since I want to make sure that I stay in a rent control property and, you know, that the rent stays low. Well, yeah, sounds good, but all the rest of the costs are going to go up. You may get pushed out of that apartment because the property owner, you know, simply is like, hey, I'm not getting paid enough in profit for what I paid for this property. So they'll leave the standards of living low. You may get upset with whatever's going on. You got a leaky faucet and carpet coming up and all of this other stuff, and they're not making improvements on the property. So you say, fuck it, I'm going to leave. Now, once you leave and left the apartment, they're going to hike up the rent. And the next person that comes in is going to have to pay that. Not only that, But what that also does is that nixes out a certain group of people from paying into that rental property. So like I was saying, they kick you out, somebody else comes in, but they just raise the rent. Well, what if they don't find a ticket for a new tenant for a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year? That entire time, nobody has been able to occupy that property simply because they chose to change that that rent. So now they have to take a loss for themselves and go in and change that rent price. Maverick says, but you got to think about how this prop makes it so a judge can have the ability to convict people as felons who previously couldn't because of the props passed in 2014, allowing theft under a certain amount only to be prosecuted as a misdemeanor, which I think emboldens criminal to steal when they know it's only a slap on the wrist. He's talking about Prop 20. Nah, man. I mean, and that's the thing. Okay, let's read it right here. What we got on the ballot. Prop 20 restricts parole for certain offenses currently considered to be nonviolent, authorizes felony sentences for certain offenses currently treated only as misdemeanors. That don't sound good at all. They're going to increase the penalty for nonviolent crimes, for misdemeanors. Now it's a felony. Now you are required by law to provide this DNA. No, no, no. Fiscal impact increases in. I only pay attention to the money. If you're not talking dollars, you ain't making sense at all to me. We should only be focusing on where our money is going to fund government. Government don't get its money from nowhere else except from we the people. They steal it, they take it by way of taxation, and then they use it to fund these initiatives, projects, whatever the case may be. Now, special interests pay them to make sure that we agree to these policy changes and to push these policy changes so we can adhere to it. We got to stop saying that we agree. Stop going along with the program. Just say no. No, no, no. No on Prop 20. No on Prop 21. Oh, fiscal impact of Prop 20. Let me finish that. Increase in state and local correctional court and law enforcement costs, likely in the tens of millions of dollars annually. So they're going to spend more of our money to the tune of tens of millions of dollars a year on correctional facilities, correctional facility costs, and for state prosecutors and district attorneys. No, 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 no. Hell no. No more money. Prop 21 expands local government's authority to enact rent control on residential property. Go fast forward through all of the bullshit because it says allows governments to establish rent control on residential properties over 15 years old. But the fiscal impact, okay? Overall, a potential reduction in state and local revenues in the high tens of millions of dollars per year over time, depending on actions by local communities. Revenue losses could be less or more. They don't even know. And they telling you simply with this. And depending on the actions by the local government, you know, you could get more revenue or you could get less because they're taxing. They're taxing people for properties. Yes, Maverick. No, no, no. No on Prop 21. Definitely. He says no on Prop 21. Agreed. Night Vale says government does not follow the Constitution. Taking DNA should be against the Fourth Amendment. Absolutely. So you're absolutely right, Night Vale. They are violating the Constitution. As I said, when you go to court in California, they will ask you if you would like to provide a sample of your DNA simply to drop those charges. So you can tell that there's some criminal activity going on. There's some ulterior motives. We are unaware of what those are. Get me in office so I can expose them for the fraudulent activity that they're doing and the corruption. So please check it out. Wildstar2022.com. I'll drop that one more time for y'all if y'all need to know. Okay. So no on Prop 21. Prop 22, this is a big one because it's been on TV and you got companies like Uber and Lyft and MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. pushing for the support and passage of Prop 22. So what Prop 22 does is it allows app-based drivers as contractors and labor policies initiative. Basically allows rideshare drivers for companies like Uber and Lyft to be able to continue to work for those companies as independent contractors. That allows them freedom as individuals to make up their own rules as employees, which they should be able to do. That's the freedom of you working as an independent contractor, is you get to dictate when you want to work, how you want to work, and have the freedom of earning that income as you see fit. What Gavin Newsom has done through AB 5 has removed anybody from being able to work as an independent contractor in the state of California. So whether you're a landscaper, a plumber, a mechanic, a nanny, like my wife used to be until all of this bullshit, a photographer, a stenographer, shit, a speech therapist, a sign language, what is it, expert, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what's the technical term, but anyways, these are all people that work as independent contractors, you know, theater, all types of jobs, independent contractor. Can't do that anymore in the state of California because AB 5 is a law which prevents you from working as an independent contractor. So they are forcing people to work for corporations, they are forcing people to work for companies and other businesses instead of you working for yourself. How does this create jobs? It's a job killer. AB 5 is a job killer, and it's killed lots of jobs here in the state of California before the lockdown was even implemented to add to the job loss. So that's why we have unemployment in the state of California at 26% and rising more and more each month. So Uber and Lyft has pressured the state to pass Prop 22 by saying we're not going to service the state of California at all. No Uber rides, no Lyft rides, no none of that, no Postmates, no none of that, unless you pass Prop 22. So, like I said, there's lots of information that you see out there promoting to vote yes on Prop 22. You probably seen commercials and shit like that. And that's great for them because it does allow rideshare drivers to get back to work. So we want to vote yes. It's unfortunate that it is creating a loophole for those corporatists and those monopolies, you know, for basically the big guns out there, the people with all the money, to be able to continue to operate in the state of California and leaving everybody else pretty much left out in the cold. But as I said, we'd rather get some people back to work and have the ability to work opposed to none at all. So please vote yes on Prop 22. All right. Let's see. Mark Maverick jumped in. He says, I love a proposition which releases all solely drug offenses. I would do that by executive order. Get me in office and I'll do exactly that. It will be a review of their criminal record and a release if they are considered to be non-threatening to the community, especially for non-violent offenses and drug offenses, etc. Because who are you hurting if you use a drug? Yourself. And if that be your choice, then by all means, do what you want to do. Nobody should be in control of your life except for you. And you should be responsible for yourself. If you want to do drugs and kill yourself, then that's your choice. Think smarter. That would really reduce our prison budget. It certainly would. And he says, getting their hands in everything they can. Absolutely. This Prop 22 is them trying to put their hands into the pockets of every person that wants to work as an independent contractor and prevent them from doing so. He said it will really lower our prison population and budget. Absolutely. I believe he's speaking of Prop 20, but yeah, definitely, like I said, vote yes on Prop 22. All right. Moving on down here. I'll be wrapping up shortly because I haven't even gotten around to candidates yet. We're still working our way through the propositions. So Prop 23, Dialysis Clinic Requirements Initiative. I'll read that for you out there. If you people are confused as to what that does, is it establishes state requirements for kidney dialysis clinics requires on-site medical professional initiative statute. All right, as good as it sounds. Fiscal impact: increased state and local governments costs likely in the low tens of millions of dollars annually by charging these clinics to adhere to these new state laws and requirements. Allow the facilities to be able to determine that. Let them work with the patients so they could be able to come up with the correct procedures that they want to provide to them. It's a service. Get government out of people's business and let them have the freedom that they are entitled to being an American. All right. We got to stop thinking that government should be the dictator of anything and everything here in our state or on the federal level. We got to stop that. That's where things are getting out of control, is by people feeling like government needs to do more. So stop that. All right. So vote no on the Prop 23. Prop 24, Consumer Personal Information Law and Agency Initiative. I'll read that as well so you guys have some clarification. It amends consumer privacy laws, permits consumers to prevent businesses from sharing personal information, correct inaccurate personal information, and limit businesses' use of sensitive personal information, including precise geolocation, race, ethnicity, and health information, establishes California Privacy Protection Agency. There's the kicker for you, okay? As good as it sounds, they want to create a new government agency called the California Privacy Protection Agency. Fiscal impact: that money increased annual state costs of at least $10 million, but unlikely exceeding low tens of millions of dollars to enforce expanded consumer privacy laws. Some costs would be offset by penalties for violating these laws. So they're also going to penalize these companies and say that that's going to supplement for the funding. But if anything, they're going to tax you more to create this new Consumer Privacy Protection Agency, which is going to go around policing these businesses and enforcing this new law or standard, and more policing, instead of letting that business take the liability. If you're using people's personal information to profiteer or whatever the case may be, sell their private property and personal information, if that person sues you, you are now liable and will have to pay them directly. Facebook has been discovered to do that. If we're not doing it on the government level by suing on behalf of the people to make sure that their privacy is protected, then what are we doing? We're again going to be policing them. So trying to nationalize dialysis clinics, essentially, precisely. He's speaking on Prop 23. So check that out. Again, you guys, more government. Hell no. I'm with you on that, Maverick, for sure. So please, again, vote no on Prop 24, which, again, is creating this new police agency to protect your private property, your personal information, whatever the case may be. No. All right. Prop 25 was a toss-up for the Libertarian Party. It says it replaces cash bail with risk assessments referendum. I wish I was there to vote on this. I would have told them yes. Okay. Please vote yes on Prop 25. Reason being is because our cash bail system is fraudulent. It is very limiting for people, because if you get arrested and you have to pay bail to get out of jail, it's to the tune of thousands of dollars, which lots of people that are arrested for nonviolent crimes, or any crime for that matter, can't even afford. You know, the average person, working class person, don't have money to be thrown away on bail charges or bail payments simply to battle a charge later on down the line. And the way it stands is if they pay the bail amount. So they're making money off of it. It's a racketeering thing going on here. And it's definitely criminal activity, and we shouldn't be forced to pay any money against our will. So please vote yes on Prop 25. It will replace that with a risk assessment type of release program. So they'll look at you and your charges, and if you aren't a risk, a flight risk or whatever, they'll just give you a court date and let you go on your own recognizance. So that's what we want, instead of people having to pay a bail amount to get out of jail. And they just sit in jail, and taxpayers are paying for them to just sit in jail to await their, court date or whatever the case may be. Maverick Cuba says we need fast trials. We need to simplify the judicial system. Yes, according to the law, if you get arrested, you're supposed to be able to see a judge that same day. Do we actually adhere to that law? Do we follow that law? Nope. That's because they're creating the rules themselves, and they're choosing which ones to actually enforce and apply. And if we want to be holding them accountable, as I said to you before, we got to get involved in the process. So please, definitely, as I said, go out and vote. And with these propositions, vote accordingly. If you would like to see the system change and be better outfitted to serve we the people, okay? So moving along, since that's the propositions, position on propositions. And like I said, I was going to do myself to be brief, and factoring in our interruption here, we want to definitely wrap things up here. So next thing coming up, picking politicians, okay? I like this picture right here. Right here. Talks about Jo Jorgensen, the libertarian candidate who is running for president of the United States of America. I voted for her. I think you should too. She's the only one that's offering to end the war on drugs, actually bring our troops home, unlike Trump, who is currently president. He hasn't brought any of our troops home. We definitely want to make sure that we are ending our occupational wars all over the country. People want to applaud him for not engaging in the war, but he isn't doing anything to reduce the amount of troops that are being spread out across the world. And people think it's okay for America to be policing the world. People also thought the same thing about Hitler and the Nazis. That's why they supported them in their regime until we stopped them, okay? So if we don't want a totalitarian government, an authoritarian government, a global government, then we need to say no to occupational wars and bring our troops home here in America where they belong so they can secure our borders in our country and protect our land. Bring our troops home. Vote yes, or vote for Jo Jorgensen, libertarian candidate for president. And a lot of people don't even know. There's only 3 candidates that have ballot access across the entire country. That's Trump, that's Biden, and Jo Jorgensen. Those are the only 3 candidates that have national ballot access across the entire country. Some places you can go, Kanye is on the ballot, some Kanye is not. Some places you can go, the Green Party candidate is on the ballot. Then they're not. You have other write-in candidates that like President R19 Body and Serene Ardolianu, both write-in candidates running for president of the United States. But in certain states, they didn't qualify as a write-in candidate. So if you want to make sure that you are voting for a candidate that has a greater opportunity of actually winning the election, it would be these 3, okay? And I know you guys have been convinced that there's only 2 parties that exist. No, there's tons of other parties. You got the Green Party, you got the Constitutional Party, you got the Independent Party, you got the Libertarian Party, who is right there standing alongside the Republicans and the Democrats. So if you want to get rid of the Republicrats, the 2-party system, switch it up, vote Libertarian, Jo Jorgensen. Ending foreign wars. She's also the only one that wants to end the enforcement of these ICE agencies and our children, or other children, our nation's children, because they still are kids. If we want to talk about protecting kids and having a pro-life attitude, we need to make sure that we are standing on that principle 100%. And we got to make sure that our children that are coming here to this country, with their parents are not being incarcerated and being kept in cages. Joe Biden helped build them. Trump built more of them. You want to just stop it? Vote George Jorgensen, like this graphic here says. The drug war, we already talked about that. Joe Jorgensen is the only one offering to end the drug war. She's the only one also offering to end the national income tax, the federal income tax. So if you want to take home more of your paycheck, vote Joe Jorgensen. So she will do that. President Trump, he's the president right now, and he could end the federal income tax, especially during this pandemic. We, the people, the ones that are considered to be essential, that are working, they're still being taxed highly, especially in the state of California, being taxed up the ass. Just say no. Just say no to taxes by voting Joe Jorgensen for president. She is also not funded by Wall Street bankers, Goldman Sachs, and now these pharmaceutical companies that are backing Trump, and that he actually has investments in himself. If we want to end the influence and power that Wall Street has over our politicians, vote Joe Jorgensen for president. Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen, the vice president. The last one is quite funny with regards to being a rapist, because we all know about Trump's marital issues and, you know, him cheating with the Stormy Daniels and all of that stuff is marital affairs, and women still support him, sadly. So what does that say about our women that want to stand behind Trump? Also, Joe Biden, you know, has been suspected of rape as well as pedophilia, and as well as Trump. Okay, friends of Epstein. Trump is a friend of Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. And Joe Jorgensen is the only one that has a clean record. So if you want a clean slate and just want to start from scratch, please vote Libertarian. I got a lot of comments here to catch up on. Let's see. Katie Diane says, vote no on the affirmative action position. Yes, we already talked about that. You're absolutely right. Maverick Cuba said nope, and that's a big issue with over-policing. Absolutely. He also says you can't lie, though. The military-industrial complex is a dangerous beast to go against, but the face force is dumb, as dumb as fuck. Definitely. It is a beast to go up against, but we got to change it. We got to change it. Oh, he says the Space Force. Yeah, the Space Force that Trump is including also in the national budget. So yeah, developing of more government agencies and wasting taxpayers' money. Thanks, Governor. I'll try to watch you next time. Ventura 2020. All right. Appreciate it, Jack B. Thank you for tuning in. Please, as I said, spread the word, share the message, share this video. All right. Katie Diane says Trump is pro-weed, by the way. He isn't for the complete drug war, and the kids should be sent home immediately. As far as the kids are concerned, he says there's over 250 kids that are sitting in cages right now. During the debate, he said this. During the debate, Katie, he talked about their kids being in cages and the parents not wanting them. So what are we doing as Americans? We're funding this system. We're funding the imprisonment of children. So no, Katie. And Trump is not pro-weed, or else he would have legalized or decriminalized marijuana on the federal level to reduce its charge. We still have federal agents going into dispensaries, doing stings, busting up legal businesses here in the state of California, simply because he is allowing the federal agents to be sent out to do policing across the country, okay? And Joe Jorgensen is the only one that says she will end the DEA. She will end the ATF. So they won't have that ability to come into legal states like California and do federal policing or enforce federal policy. Katie Diane, he hasn't done much to legalize it. Exactly. Would have been a huge vote grab and extremely easy. Hell yeah, exactly. That's how you know he's a flip-flopper. He don't really give a damn about us. He gives a damn about the special interest that keeps him in power, because that's what a narcissist like him wants and needs. It feeds his ego. The pharmaceutical corporations are backing Biden. Same with the military industrial complex. Same with Trump. Hate to tell you, baby doll. Jack B. Giuliani is a 9/11 suspect. Straight up. He was around there during the time. Wasn't he the mayor, Rudy Giuliani, during 9/11? Yeah, he had investments in certain, Building 7. It was actually under investigation. He was. That's not a lie, says Maverick. Katie Diane says Trump can't legalize it without Congress passing a new drug control act. Well, what he could do is he could nullify the current drug laws. That would be simple, fast, and easy, and he has the authority to do so. Quit making excuses for Trump, Katie. He doesn't deserve it. The space farce, I agree, end it before it gets going. I agree with you there, definitely. Let's end the space farce. It's a race to take over space. And things are going to get out of control if we don't say no to it now. Jack B says weed is a great way to generate legal cash flow. Definitely, as well as get the economy going here in the country. If we want to revitalize our economy, kids were brought in by coyotes. I'm going to lay that one alone. He can't legalize it without Congress. Still, again, federal level, he can say it is legal. He can reduce the the federal law, and reduce that. He can do it. Separation of powers clause, look it up. He can do it. Jack B says clean up. Rude boy, Rudy, Maverick says. And Jack B says he was warned the towers were going to collapse and directed the cleanup of evidence. Yeah, it's a lot of dirty stuff about 9/11. Look it up, people. It definitely needs to be reopened and reinvestigated, but it won't happen unless we get a non-establishment candidate in office like Joe Jorgensen, who's also offering to end the Federal Reserve. So please vote Libertarian Joe Jorgensen for president of the United States. And as I said, Spike Cohen is our vice presidential candidate who is running with her as well. So please support them by voting Joe Jorgensen. You can't see it here. All right. And then we got other people running for nonpartisan offices like Congress and Senate and Assembly and all of this other stuff. So it's going to vary depending on the district that you're in. Like someone was saying here, vote for any candidate that's not an establishment candidate or an incumbent. That way you can actually see what else they have to offer. So that's my recommendation for all of you out there that are still on the fence as to who you should vote for your state assembly or Congress or whatever the case may be. Just look at that, change it up, switch someone else. If you have a non-contested race, like here in Fresno, Congressional District 16 has Kevin Cookingham and Jim Costa, a longtime Democrat who's been in office. I abstained on that. I'm not going to vote for either. This is why. They send out all of these mailers, you know what I'm saying? They don't give a damn about meeting you personally and, actually letting you know what they have to offer, other than just sending out mailers and expecting people to go by this. You know what people do with these mailers? It's trash. I tell the candidates, don't do fucking mailers. Don't do it. It's a waste of money because people like me going to do just what you just saw, rip the shit up, and drop it in the trash. It don't mean nothing, okay? So they're wasting campaign dollars on sending out these mailers that is going to do nothing to convince me to support them in their candidacy. So do what I'm doing, throw the shit away, vote NOTA. If you can write it in, put it NOTA, none of the above, NOTA, or simply abstain and skip the shit if they don't give you an opportunity to write it in like what they're doing with District 16 with Kevin Cookingham and Jim Costa. All right, could care less about either one of them. He was warned the towers were going to collapse and then directed cleanup. Oh, we already said that. Maverick Cuba says, couldn't find any third party or independent in my area, so I'm voting out Democrat incumbents for a Republican. That's fine. You do you. Paper shredder material. He also says just put it in the paper shredder. Yeah. But yeah, if you're in an area where it's a Democrat, longtime Democrat like Jim Costa running, and you want to get him out of office, vote for this new guy, Kevin Cookingham, I guess, or whatever the case may be. My problem with it is, like I said, I like to keep my conscience clear, and I don't want to vote or support a candidate that I don't know anything about. And this Kevin Cookingham is pretty much one of those individuals. So I will not be voting for you, Kevin Cookingham. Good luck to you, though. I definitely hope you do your thing and replace Jim Costa, because I know he sucks. But I got a sneaky suspicion that whether it's Jim Costa or Kevin Cookingham, the District 16 of Fresno is not going to get any better. Okay. We also got, I don't think we had this, Measure D. Yeah, okay. This was the last one. It wasn't on the proposition sheet or whatever, but Measure D. They're telling you here to vote yes on Measure D, and it's been sent out by Central Unified Schools, saying investing in our kids and the community help the students of Central Unified. Let's read it. What is this? Measure D. To provide quality schools, including a comprehensive high school and new elementary school, improve student safety and school security, renovate existing classrooms, upgrade technology, create local construction jobs. Central Unified School District authorizing $120 million in bonds to be adopted with legal interest rates, estimated levies averaging less than 6 cents per $100 of assessed value, raising $6.8 million annually to repay bonds through maturity, annual audit, citizen oversight, and annual funds benefiting central schools. Whenever what did I say, you guys? Whenever you see bond, nope, no. We're going to vote no on Measure D in Fresno, okay? If you're out there in Fresno, the Central Valley area, and you are on the fence on how you should vote for Measure D, nope. I'm going to throw that right in the trash where it belongs. All right? And Maverick Cuba, drop me some thumbs up. Appreciate the love, bro. He also says, same shit, different letter. Exactly. Same shit, different letter. That's why I'm wearing this shirt right here. This is same shit. Oh, well, I got that shirt too. It says same shit, different animals. But this one says jokers to the right, clowns to the left. You know, whether you're on the right wing or the left wing, we need to get back in between. And what really matters here in our country, and what matters to we the people, is that we live free without the dictation of a totalitarian government and system and establishment candidates who just continue to be career politicians, stay in office, nothing changes, our tax dollars get wasted, and we suffer because of it. How much longer can we continue to suffer? We shouldn't be debating on that at all. It should be, we don't want to suffer anymore, and suffering will stop now, right now. That's our line in the sand, and we need to make sure that we stand firm on our principles and make sure all of these politicians are adhering to our demands, okay? So that's my recommendation for picking politicians, political candidates, all that good stuff. Joe Jorgensen, president for the United States of America, would be the best choice, in my opinion. You're welcome to do whatever you choose. You're going to do whatever the fuck you want to do anyway. But like I said, if you guys are sick of the two-party system, sick of the duopoly, sick of the jokers on the right and the clowns on the left, then just vote for the one that's right between it all. And that's the libertarian candidate, all right? Maverick says, all my local measures were for higher taxes and low-income houses. Was going to put a sign in my lawn that said, vote no on the alphabet. I like that. Vote no on the alphabet. Love your attitude, says Jack B. And outlook for the country. They need people like me. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Hey, I'm one of a kind, and I'm doing my best to make sure that I can make California a stronghold for the free people of America, but we got to start first with making sure that we get out there and we are actually participating in the electoral process. So please go out and vote, even if you don't think it works, even if you think you're throwing away your vote. Vote. You know, you got to speak up for yourself, speak up for the community, or remain silent. That's exactly what you're doing by not voting. And he says, what's that FB chat too? Yeah, we got FB, we got Facebook and YouTube. It all pops up here in this wonderful, program that I'm using. So thank you all out there for all of the comments and questions, opinions on ranked choice voting. I am pro ranked choice voting. I will nullify what Newsom has done, actually pass a law that was pushed by legislators to create a better environment for creating ranked choice voting systems in counties throughout the entire state. Newsom vetoed that bill. So I would be looking at that bill again and possibly be implementing that on the state level. I would love to have ranked choice voting implemented on the state level, even for governor. We should be able to rank our governor. So were I elected governor of California for the following race during my first 4 years, I will be implementing ranked choice voting on the statewide level. So moving forward, that's the only way that we'd be voting here. We'd actually be benefiting from that because of that, benefiting more because of that. So that's it, you guys. Like I said, I wanted to do my best to make it as brief as possible, but it was a lot of propositions and shit to go through. And then we had the technical difficulty, the hacking by the powers that be, the NSA, FBI, TSA, all those people watching out there, the alphabet agencies. Fuck you, because we're going to get you out of power one way or another, especially if I get into power. I'm giving all the power back to we the people. What are the benefits of ranked choice voting? If you got all of the candidates on the ballot, you won't be forced to vote for one or the other. That's as simple as put. People feel like they're put in a hard place because they are forced to choose between these two instead of being able to vote for all of the candidates. And that's exactly what ranked choice voting would allow you to do, give you the freedom to vote for all of the candidates on the ballot. Then you can rank them to least likable or most likable. So if you really like the candidate, you could give them a 5, but the next guy down the line, you could give them a 1. Or if you look at the libertarian candidate and sound pretty good, you can give them a 3 or a 5 or something like that. But then it will all be tallied up, and the ones that are ranked the highest, that would be the winner. That's the way we should be doing shit. Maverick Cuba says, have a good night, man. Appreciate the rundown. My pleasure indeed. Thank you so much for being here for this chat. I appreciate all of the comments and questions and all of the love, the thumbs up, the hearts, and the support for my candidacy for governor of California. As I said, you guys, I am in need of people power. So please check it out. My website, Wildstar2022.com. That's my new website. Just got it. If you visit my website, you'll see this pledge card. Please fill it out if you want to volunteer and help out with the campaign. I am in need of more boots on the ground, more hands involved with the process. So please be sure to fill out this pledge card if you want to help and get involved with the campaign, especially on the social media tips, since, like I said, I am being censored by Facebook and YouTube and all of these other platforms. But like I said, here's my new website, Wildstar2022.com. Check it out. Here's my platform so you can find out more about what I'm offering to do for the state of California. Got economic revitalization, criminal justice reform, homelessness, community violence, my Phoenix initiative, as well as my Gold New Deal. Oh, yeah. So if you want to make sure my Gold New Deal becomes a reality, get me into office. I need money. So donate whatever you can. Click on this donate button, make a contribution today. Okay, because I'm not bought out by special interest groups. I'm not funded by any police unions or nurses association or educational union or whatever the case may be, teachers unions, I'm not in their pockets. I'm in your pocket. You want to keep me in your pocket, then give me something out of your pocket, okay? And I need that money so I can make sure that I'm covering basic costs for my campaign to file and, get campaign materials like lawn signs and those beautiful gold hats. The gold hat that you see me wearing right there and on the main page right here on my website. So if you want a Governor Wildstar hat, be sure to make a contribution today so I can get those made up and actually have them available. I'll add a store tab soon once I get all of the funding. But first things first, I want to make sure that I have the opportunity to be on the ballot, and I can only do that with your contribution. I also want to make sure that I have the opportunity to go to different events all throughout the state, and that costs money, Airbnbs and gas and all of that shit. So please make a contribution today. Every little bit helps. A guy gave me $20 yesterday, saw me out there and doing my weekly thing, petitioning to get signatures to recall Governor Gavin Newsom. And he seen me out there a few weeks ago, and he came back today. I saw him, and he gave me $20. He's like, here, we got to help out each other. We can't depend on the big bankers and Wall Street and all of those other people to actually do what we want and contribute to the candidates that we want to have into office. So I'm never going to get money from them. I'm pretty sure of it. But if I get all the money from you that I need, then I won't need any of their money ever, and it won't matter at all. So make sure it counts. Head over to my website right here at the bottom of the screen, wildstar2022.com. Make a contribution, or like I said, please be sure to get involved as a volunteer, okay? So I'm going to go get out of here, go make some dinner. Again, thank you all for being here for this wonderful chat. Please share. Sharing is caring, and it doesn't cost you a thing. So please spread the word, and let's bring back liberty, y'all. I'm up out this bitch. Take care until next time. Much love. Oh, come back on Tuesday. I'll be doing an election day special for Black Side of Liberty. So we'll be talking more about the electoral process and hopefully see how our candidates are doing. Maybe Joe Jorgensen impress us all and actually make some noise. So come back Tuesday for the Black Side of Liberty election day special. All right. Till then, have a great evening and long live liberty, y'all. Peace.